Hello, everyone. Hi, it's me again, and I have, as you can see, the lovely Alison McLean with me today, who is a fantastic artist. I'm really intrigued by her work, and I wanted her to come on today to share her techniques and her passion. Is just enthralling, really. So I'm really enjoying watching her develop and grow in her skills and show her work. So let's find out some
Hi
more.
everyone.
Well, good afternoon, I think we are, aren't we?
We
Yeah.
are.
So Alison, you're Kent-based artist. How
I
are you
am.
well, let's start with the beginning. What made you pick up some materials and create? What
Okay.
happened?
Well, I started initially making jewelry because I felt the need for a creative outlet, and I was dealing with genuine gemstones in sterling silver predominantly, um, making necklaces, earrings, bracelets, that sort of thing. Didn't really get as far as marketing them, but it didn't feed the creative spark enough for me. And so, as you do, watching YouTube, and I was looking on some artist channels, and I thought, oh, I'll give that a go. And it was basically paint along with them, which is how I started. And I just got hooked. And I literally started before lockdown, and it ended up being the perfect hobby to have in lockdown because
Yes.
it was the perfect artist solo retreat, because I work out of one of our upstairs bedrooms. And yeah, so it was great. So obviously I could still order supplies, and I just got sort of stuck into it, and stopped pretty soon following along, the paint with me type YouTube tutorials, and thought I just want to do what I feel I want to do. And I've tried lots of things, and there's lots that I love, but I seem to be going from one thing to another, and I suppose in the process of finding my style, really. So yeah, it
Yes.
started out a lot of collage. I started out with alcohol inks, the
Sorry,
Pebeo paints.
you started out with a lot of alcohol. I think a lot of artists might do
No,
that.
yeah, the alcohol inks slightly different. You don't drink those, but yeah, so lots of different mediums. And now I started out with oil and cold wax, which was my main thing to use. And I was doing acrylics as well, and I'm back to acrylics at the moment because I'm enjoying the immediacy of them, and obviously they don't take ages to dry. Even though cold wax speeds up the drying time of oil tenfold, you still have to wait longer than you do with acrylics. And plus, because I'm doing sort of pop-up exhibitions now, and I need to get things finished, and
Yeah.
acrylics just works for me at the moment. So
So
um,
how does that work with you if you wanted to get back into your own creativity when it comes to exhibiting? Are you happy? Is it a comfortable experience, or is it something that you find that you don't like to work to deadlines?
um,
Work for you?
Well, I actually have a lot of, before I started doing any pop-ups, I had quite a lot of work that I considered finished. So there wasn't a huge amount of pressure initially. I'm obviously going to hopefully start increasing on that. So yes,
Mm.
and I don't paint all the time. I mean, I have to feel a creative urge to do it. So, and it's like with other things, if you don't do it for a while, go away on holiday, and you can't wait to get back to your studio and pick up a brush. But so I wouldn't class myself as a full-time artist at all. But yeah, I just have a lot of finished work. There's lots of works on
Very
paper
good.
which are easily framed.
Yeah.
I do bigger pieces and end up cropping them, and you can get, multiple sort of nice little paintings out of that as well.
Mm.
So yeah, it's good. I work bigger. I started to work bigger on the acrylics at the moment as well. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Good. So what's the main theme of what you're working on? Do you have a theme, or do you just spontaneously do something, create something on the day?
Yeah, I don't really go into it with a plan. I'm what you'd call an abstract expressionist. I just an intuitive led. So, whatever I lay down informs the next marks, and I just go from there really. I
Mm.
love colour. I mean, I've done the odd sort of muted, toned down pieces, but my go-to seems to be the colour and the pinks and the greens, which I love, and I'm very inspired by the seasons and what's around me, and even if it's from my subconscious. I was going for a trip up to the Lake District, and my subconscious must have been at work, so I start painting lake type landscape scenes as well. I mean, still on an abstract basis, but yeah. So
be in tune here, because I was just going to ask you what you were talking about traveling, and I wondered if traveling to different countries inspires you in a certain way. But you've just said you go to the Lake District. You paint lakes?
yeah, so I came back from Scotland and started painting mountain scenes. You know, I mean, it's just
Yeah.
it's just all there, and it just sort of comes out. But the biggest thing that I'm finding with the art is it's so meditative. You know,
Yes.
you can just sort of get in the zone and
Mm.
just you know, be up here for hours, really.
Yeah, you lose time. Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
what
I'm just loving it. So I'm still learning. Yeah,
do we ever stop learning? That's the thing. And there's always
no,
new techniques and other inspirations to come along. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
great. I mean, I can relate to a lot of what you're saying. What's the best experience you've had so far regarding showing your work? Have you got any? Have you got?
What the last pop-up I did, which was only over a weekend, and it was out of the Royal Tunbridge Wells Art Society premises,
Mhm.
and I'd sold a total of 10 pieces. They weren't huge at all, but you know, it's just nice that somebody's happy to part with their hard-earned cash, even just for a small piece, you know, and have it on their walls. So that's great. I'm doing the Southeast Open Studios this coming month in June.
Mhm.
So I'm doing the last 2 weeks of June again at the Pantiles, Lower Pantiles at the Art Society premises.
Mhm.
So I'm there from the 15th to the 30th of June. And so that's the first time. So I haven't done anything for that length of time, 2 weeks.
Mhm.
So yeah, obviously getting quite, but I'm sharing the premises with 4 other creatives. So there's another 3 artists and a ceramicist.
No,
So we'll just
great.
share all the wall space. So yeah, it'll be good. So I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to that.
If anybody's watching this and you're current, get yourselves along there because
Get down there.
you know,
Yeah.
go and find Alison's art for yourself. But if you're too late and you're watching this retrospectively, just contact Alison and she'll help you to discover some of her work. Have you got any examples that you can show us, Alison, or any little?
I can. So here are a few of my pieces. So they're oil and cold wax. That's still got the protective film over it, that black framed one. So there's another oil and cold wax. And these will all be coming to Southeast Open Studios with me. That's called Happy Friday, oil and cold wax. And then we have some acrylics. And that one at the end there is called After the Rain. Loving the colours in that one, and there's an ice frame on them. And these 2 are smaller oil and cold wax. And there's some on the floor here in various stages of being ready. That large one that's acrylic. That's called Emerging Spring. And that will probably be coming with me to Southeast Open. And then this is the one that I've currently been working on. Working title of Soft Summer Rain. It's an acrylic piece. So this is one of the largest ones I've been working on.
What's the process of oil and cold wax then? How does that work? I'm sure not many people I know have worked with it.
Well, no, I mean, it's, I suppose there's 2, isn't there? There's encaustic, which is hot wax, and then you've got the cold wax. And it's just a medium that you add to oil paint. And if you're on a hard substrate, like a wooden panel or something, you can do a 50-50 mix.
Mm-hmm.
And as I say, it speeds up the drying of the oil tenfold. I mean, it'll be touch dry the following day, as long as it's not too thick.
Yeah.
But if you do it on paper, it's best to then, you can still do a 50-50 mix, but you'd have to put it behind glass because it would, if it's a flexible substrate, it could crack. So, so there's pros and cons to it, obviously, but you could also mount it from paper onto a panel. So it'd be a rigid substrate then anyway. So yeah, you just have to be careful that if it's on canvas that you do a 70-30 mix. So 30% cold wax to 70% oil. And you shouldn't have any problems then with it cracking. So, but I mean,
Interesting.
who really sort of pushes a canvas anyway for it to flex? But it's a possibility that it would happen. So
Anything can happen with the canvas.
anything can happen if
Anything
it's not
can
looked
happen.
after properly.
Yeah, no, that's interesting because I know I use encaustic. I worked with encaustics for quite a long time, and I enjoy those.
Yeah,
So
I've
if
seen your work. It's lovely. Yeah.
it's quite a long time ago. I'm actually in the throes of reigniting my passion to set up a station where I can work on that. But
Okay.
yeah, so up until my love is oil paint. So I love the smell. I love getting in the zone, and I just do.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I understand.
It is
I think,
lovely.
I think some of the audience may never have come across cold wax and oil, so that's interesting. So if anybody wants to have a go, um,
I'd recommend it, definitely. I mean, there's lots of YouTube tutorials on it as well. And you can also collage into it as well. So it's very versatile in that regard.
mm,
But yes, it just it takes the gloss out of oil paint. But of course, you can then add that back in with other mediums if you wanted to. So it does make it more matte. But as I say, it speeds up and it's a lovely buttery feel to it. It's lovely.
is it? Yeah, I've never used it, so that's interesting. Fascinating work. So do you want to take your work further afield? Have you tried selling abroad yet? Because I know you travel.
I am on the Saatchi website, which obviously has quite a large reach, and I did sell a painting through them 18 months ago now, I think. I haven't got many with them, but it's something that's just sort of running in the background. And if a piece sells, that's fantastic. I've also got representation with Gallery 35 in Cranbrook. They
Okay.
recently sold a painting of mine. So yeah, I mean, again, I was starting to think, am I a good fit? Because I had a couple of pieces with them last year that didn't sell, and then the two that they had now, it took a while for one of them to sell, but it has sold. So that's always lovely. So yes, I'll keep sort of putting some pieces with them as
Well, that's
well.
interesting that you say that because our artists do, in general, do struggle quite often to find the right fit, to find the right gallery, to position themselves, and to learn about marketing. Because not a lot of artists who are creative or creative people, anyway, are also very good at marketing. So that's an aspect that's interesting. So when it comes to marketing, are you happy with the way you're marketing, or are you looking at developing it in some way?
Well, I'm not good at marketing. I don't like feeling like I'm selling to somebody. I hate the feeling like I'm being sold to. So I don't ever want to do that to anybody. Um, and I know, if somebody falls in love with a painting, then you're not really having to sell it anyway, as long as
Hmm.
it's within the price that they're looking at. So no, I don't like doing that. I will approach galleries. I mean, I approached Gallery 35, and they were happy to accept some paintings from me. And there are others that I'd love to get into as well. I'm not necessarily sure it's the be all and end all. I know people say you've got to have things like an email subscriber list, which I haven't got down to doing. I'm a complete technophobe, so the thought of setting up my own website fills me with dread. But that's probably something I need to do as well. But all of those things, once it's done, it's kind of self-fulfilling, and you don't really have to worry too much about it. That's the idea anyway. It's much like Saatchi, it'll run in the background.
Do you
And
have a Facebook and Instagram page or
yeah,
social?
well, I've got a dedicated Instagram, and it's Alison McLean Art. So that's ALISONMCLEAN art, all one word. My Facebook, it does go to Facebook, but that's more of a personal account as well. So I don't think anybody particularly needs that. But if they want to see the art, then yeah, Alison McLean Art on Instagram.
Yeah.
Um,
So you can
and
do the same on Facebook. You can just set up another page just for your
well,
art.
I could do. Yes, I could do. I mean, I haven't got a huge number of followers on Instagram. Again, that's a difficult thing, I think, to grow on that.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
mean, I did
I
go.
think the thing is that it's a lot, what stops a lot of artists is the time it takes and the consumption of time to promote yourself, etc. If it unless it's flowing easily, and a lot of people don't know how to get started, and there's a lot of people out there who want a lot of money to set you up and start you off, etc. But
Yeah.
is the maintaining of it. And I think a lot of creative people avoid that. But then there's ways of doing it. So I
Well, I'm
think,
sure there are. Yeah, I'm just not very forthright in setting it all up. I know I need to get more so, but
oh,
I'm just
that's,
happy with the way it's going at the moment because
yeah,
I mean, I'm not here sometimes for upwards of half the year, and
your life is
so
important.
you know, I to actually have sales come through in that time is going to be quite difficult, to be fair. But yeah, it's you know, and I don't paint when I'm away. I just my art form there is I'll take photographs for inspiration to then come back and paint, for example.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
quite
yeah,
agree. His lifestyle is very important, and obviously, some people have had their whole careers painting from teens to old age. You know, that's their life's work.
mm,
But I think as you come into art and being creative later in life, you already have things established in your life, like family and relationships and the other hobbies, other things that take you, like traveling. I'd call that a hobby for you. You're,
yeah, I would as well, and golf. I'm you know.
yes,
I'm
go.
a big
Yeah,
golfer, so I mean that takes up most of the day when you play around at golf. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's
So I
there are other
understand.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I think sometimes when you grow things organically and according to self and being true to yourself and being happy, then you can create. Um, you don't often find a lot of angst artists and creatives. They're usually joyful. Whereas musicians, they make their best albums when their life's falling apart.
Well, possibly, yeah. I mean, it's you know, it's very much emotion led. I mean, I'm quite a positive, upbeat person, so
You are.
maybe that's why you know, I come out with predominantly colourful, floral, you know, sort of happy
Mm,
pieces. Or I'd consider happy pieces.
yeah,
Um,
that's
but
great.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's what comes out of me. I don't go into it with any outcome in mind.
Mm,
I choose a palette and but that might change as well from layer
mm,
after layer after layer. It all changes.
yeah.
But yeah, it's how
Fascinating,
I
isn't it?
approach it.
Yeah,
Mm.
fascinating, and having an open mind and an open heart like that. And like you say, there's that meditative state. So my belief is that when we're being creative, we're healing ourselves. And I'm sure that's the case for you too. So what kind of obstacles have you met? What would you like people to be wary of on their journeys? Is there anything that's been difficult for you at all that you can help?
No, I mean the only thing with having a dedicated online presence, as I say, just with the Instagram, is I'm constantly bombarded by people who want to sell for
Oh,
NFTs. That's annoying. I mean, you get a lot of bots following you, and they're not true followers. So I mean, I just block them as soon as they come through.
yeah.
You know, they might have 2 followers and you know 1,000 posts or something stupid, or the other way around. I mean, it just
Yeah.
doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So that's annoying because that's a waste of time. I just wish they wouldn't try spamming us. But
Yeah.
apart from that, no. I mean, you know, I'm happy with the pace that I'm going at. I mean, as I say, I'm doing the Southeast Open. I've then got another 10-day exhibition at on the end of July, I think the 20th to the 30th of July, with the same group of people that I'm doing the Southeast Open
Oh,
with.
lovely. That's good.
So,
Yeah, so
so
you're
that'll be
building your
nice.
reputation. You're making people aware and building
Yeah,
your
just
reputation.
slowly putting myself out there. So,
Yeah, great.
and
Well,
it's a good pace for me anyway.
yes, and you seem very happy, so that's the important thing. And you're
Yeah,
giving
yeah.
joy to others. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Cool.
Well, that'd be nice. That's a bonus.
Yeah, lovely. And your family can be proud of you. I think a lot of people forget that they're so often enwrapped in what they're doing. They forget that they're role models for other people who are close for them, close
Well,
to
you
them.
know, I mean, I'm in my 60s now, and
You
you're just
don't
never
look
too
it.
old. You're never too old to try something new.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, in school, I wasn't particularly interested in art, but I honestly think I was probably put off because I believed you had to draw to be able to paint.
Mhm.
And that's not right at all. I don't agree with that. You don't have to be able to draw to be able to create art. So but you know that's a realization that's come with many years behind me. So
Mhm.
but yeah, you're never too old. You're never too old.
No, And I'm glad that you've come to this point. So thank you for showing us your work. And if
You're welcome.
anybody here today or in the future, if you're watching this retrospectively, would like to contact Alison, go to her on her Instagram page. I think that's the best thing. So that was Alison McLean Art. I'll put the information in the description and the comments for you.
Oh, that's brilliant, Victoria. Thank you.
Lovely. Well, thank you for your time, and it's lovely to see you.
Yeah,
And I
lovely to
wish
see
you
you
well.
too. All
Bye
right.
bye.
Take care. Bye.